Hello there and welcome to this brand new edition of 5 Round MMA, or as I'm going to rename it, the Conor McGregor MMA Hour.
Yes.
My name is Alex Alvarez.
Because I think the whole show's going to be on Conor McGregor.
Alfred Cena and Guillermo Cena, because honestly, last night, social media was, particularly UFC social media, Conor McGregor posts left and right. Before, during, after. The after party was all Conor McGregor out. So I think this show should be named the Conor McGregor Hour. What about you, Guillermo? You think that?
Yeah, I've been on the wagon for a while. I've been on the train. You guys are finally jumping on. He even got the Conor McGregor haircut. That's what I'm talking about.
The Conor McGregor.
I think Guillermo's the creator of the Conor McGregor fan page on Facebook, right?
Facebook. Yeah.
All right, today's show, got to talk about obviously UFC 178. A lot happened this past Saturday. So many storylines that were completed that just were created because of it.
It's almost like we saw a WWE pay-per-view.
Yeah.
So many storylines created.
Can't wait to watch Monday Night Raw the next night. Got Mark Pavelich on, MSC president. Talk about MSC 41.
For us.
And also, but before we get into all that, I want to play as we do after every big pay per view is what to tweet. So you guys ready?
Yeah, we're ready.
I don't want Guillermo looking at
I'm like the king of this, right?
Yeah, you are.
Guillermo looking at my screen here, so I'm gonna adjust a little bit. So basically, the tweet, what the tweet is basically 5 about pretty funny tweets that I scoped through the internet last night, and thought you guys could guess who sent them out. So the first one,
You're keeping track of score, right?
In my head. Okay. So the first one, tweet number one. What the tweet? C, told all you guys Bellator dudes can't fight. Was it A, Nate Diaz, B, Miles Jury?
Can I go first?
Or C, Ben Askren? Guillermo will go.
Ben Askren.
It's C, Ben Askren.
You guys are both right, Ben Askren.
Dude, well then let me go first. Let me go first on the next one.
That was C, Ben Askren. That was sent out during the Eddie Alvarez Cowboy Cerrone fight. So I wonder if is that a shot at Alvarez or the whole organization of Bellator?
Both.
I think it was both.
See, Ben Askren saying I had to leave Bellator because no dude's fighting there. That's why.
Exactly.
You guys can follow Ben Askren on Twitter at Ben Askren. Second one. This one's directed towards Conor McGregor at Notorious MMA. You've ducked me for 2 years. Time to step up and get in. Get an all-American ass whooping. You bleep me on that one.
Yeah, I gotta bleep that one, Steven.
The guy tagged UFC, Dana White, and some other people. Was it A, Nick Lentz, B, Darren Elkins, or C, Jeremy Stevens? Albert.
I go first, right? A, don't copy me.
I have to. A.
It was Nick Lentz. I guess I don't know. I guess I don't know about the beef between Nick Lentz and Conor McGregor. You guys know about this?
No, I don't. I mean, but I'm assuming everybody's gonna start calling him out. So
Nick Lentz is probably the most underrated guy
well, this is,
in that category because no one talks about Nick Lentz.
Well, 2 years running according to Nick Lentz. So you guys can follow Nick Lentz on Twitter at Nick Lentz.
But I can see maybe why he's ducking him. Maybe he's not a big enough name to where it's like it's not propelling me to the title.
Did Conor McGregor say everybody's on the list? Everybody's on his list.
That's a featherweight.
Number 3. This one's directed to Demetrious Johnson at Mighty Mice UFC will retire as UFC flyweight champion. He's kind of good at that karate stuff. Hashtag UFC 178. Was it A, Kenny Florian, B, Pat Miletich, or C, Ariel Helwani? Guillermo. Florian, Miletich, or Helwani?
I'll go Helwani.
C, Helwani?
I'm gonna go A.
Kenny Florian it is.
Wow.
You can follow Kenny Florian at
Lucky
Kenny
guess.
Florian.
That was the one we did both guessed, I bet you.
I knew.
You guys think that's kind of true? Is he that good of a champion?
Yeah, I think he's a great champion.
We'll dive into that a little deeper, but off the top of your head.
This sets up if Dominick Cruz can pull it off.
It's a 90% chance that it will happen.
He retires.
I say 90%.
All right. Number 4. That seriously gave me goosebumps. Welcome back at The Dominator, which is directed to Dominick Cruz.
I saw this one.
A, Brian Stan, B, Joseph Benavidez, or C, Rashad Evans? Who wants to go first? You guys decide. Since
you go first.
Didn't I go first last time?
I'll go last first. Give me my running down with the things.
Is it A, Brian Stan, B, Joseph Benavidez, or C, Rashad Evans?
It's gonna be A, Brian Stan.
I'll go C, Rashad Evans.
You guys are both wrong. Joseph Benavidez.
Joseph Benavidez said that?
Yeah,
he said that. Oh, wow.
It seriously gave me goosebumps.
That was a tricky
back
one.
at The Dominator.
Wow.
Uriah Faber has something kind of a little smarty, like, first career finish for at The Dominator, not too shabby. So kind of a backhanded compliment, right?
Well, because then The Dominator, the
alpha male killer, right?
Yeah, the alpha male killer. I didn't see that coming.
I didn't see it coming.
All right, so the last one.
And the tiebreaker.
You can follow Joseph Benavidez at Joe Jitsu, probably one of the best handles, I think, in all of MMA fighters. Last one. Sick fights tonight at UFC. Edge of my seat the whole time. Hashtag UFC 178. Can't wait to sling some leather in December. Hashtag UFC 181. Is it A, Robbie Lawler, B, Johnny Hendricks, or C, Tony Ferguson? Who wants to go first?
You have to go first. Someone first last time.
Didn't I go first?
I don't know. Somebody go first.
Jackson.
Okay.
Jackson, pick somebody go first.
Okay,
Big game.
it's
Robbie Lawler, Johnny Hendricks.
Hendricks.
Albert.
Man, that's what I was gonna say.
Well, then say it, brother.
But for the sake of for the game and make sure we have a clear, consistent winner, I'm going Robbie Lawler.
You guys are both wrong. Tony Ferguson.
What?
He's fighting in December.
Yeah,
He just fought.
El Cucuy?
Yeah, he put hashtag El Cucuy. I had to leave it out because it's a big hit.
El Cucuy already fought.
He's fighting again in December. He always fights. Tony Ferguson.
It's a
You can
tie.
follow him on Twitter at Tony Ferguson XT. I think I'm getting pretty good at what the tweet because the first couple rounds,
Yeah.
Albert get me blown
I
out the
thought
water.
it was-
Guillermo didn't get anything right. Guillermo's getting better. You're getting worse, or maybe I'm just getting better. Who knows?
Yeah, you are. You're
You're picking some pretty good ones. That's why.
So, all right, guys, stick around. We got Mark Pavelich coming up next, so it should be great. So stick around.
Please visit FiveRoundMMA.com on our social media on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. FiveRoundMMA.com.
All right, welcome back. Joining us now on the 5-Round MMA Hotline, brought to you by Redemption Martial Arts. Please visit redemptionmartialarts.com to see how you can join the movement to stop bullying. With us now is Maximum Fighting Championship President Mark Pavelich. Mark, how's it going?
Fantastic, fellas. What's up?
Good. Friday, October 3rd, MSC 41 returns to the Shaw Conference Center in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Also be seen on Access TV. But started off as kind of a shaky card. You guys kind of recovered and now put on a pretty impressive main event. So tell us about the main event.
Well, the first time in history in 15 years we had so many problems with this card with injuries. I've never ever had anything like this ever happen in 15 years. And once again, it's a tribute to how good I am at this industry. It's very simple, right? Because most people in general would never be able to really, they wouldn't be able to fix it. There's no way they'd be able to fix it. And, I fixed it and I made sure, I've never canceled a show in 15 years. And
that was my next point. Yeah.
Who else can say that in our industry, right?
Yeah.
I mean, UFC canceled 3 shows in 1 month.
Yeah.
One in Edmonton, one in Toronto, one in Montreal, one in Los Angeles. And I mean, I guess, being the largest MMA show in the world, they can kind of do that, but I can't.
Yeah, that's my next point. Yeah, so many organizations are, because the main event's gone, they scrapped the entire event. But you guys just seem to be very deep in talent where you could just shuffle things around and still have a respectable card on to give the people.
Well, I look at these kind of cards and I'm like, it reminds me of MFC 24. Everybody was kind of like, Eve Edwards was on the show, Tom Watson, those kind of guys. But people weren't really paying attention that much. And then it was like the best fight card in the history of our organization and probably one of the best fight cards in the history of MMA. And once again, this kind of has the smell to the same, it has the same feel. I see guys already chirping back and forth to each other on Twitter. And I love that stuff. I mean, it's great that I know how to sell a fight, but I'm telling you, it's a sign of the times. I think fighters have to learn how to sell their own fight.
Yeah, it's true.
And then just staying with the main event, Mark, this is Guillermo. It's a catch weight. So how did the catch weight come about? And then there's a stipulation. And how did that stipulation come about?
I don't know. It's Guillermo, you got to tell me, man, because I'm so confused by my own fight card. I wish I could give you honest answers. I really am. It's so whack what happened. I mean, for the first time in 15 years, I was really contemplating on seriously canceling the card. Wow. Ticket sales are great. Sponsorship is great. TV deal is great. And I'm like, I don't know what to do here, man. This is just so out of control. And I just said to myself, there's no way I'm canceling this. There's just no way. I can't do it, man. I just can't. I stayed up for 2 or 3 days straight. I did a lot of begging and pleading. I figured a way to save it. And now I'm more excited than ever about the actual show, just due to the fact that, I pulled off basically the impossible.
And how much credit do you give Marcus Edwards and Shane Campbell for agreeing to this?
I think it's great for both their careers, in my opinion. I really do. I think, I'd give them both credit for fighting each other because I think basically they probably want to avoid each other, because they're both so good that I think that they would probably want to stay on the opposite sides of the track. And then if they meet up, they meet up. But probably wasn't the best time career-wise for either one of them. But the winner, whoever wins this fight, sky's the limit.
And it's interesting too because this is is technically more for the lightweight division, which is probably the most established division right now in your organization. Is that why you guys chose to pick these two fighters over any other fighter?
I just when I started to realize was I was like, okay, what fight would I want to see? And I don't care what weight it's at. I just want to see like a wicked fight, and to save my brain cells from like, you know, just this mass chaos that was going on for that period of time. You know, for me, it was like I just want to put together a cool fight, and then I'll work downward after that. You know, so that was the fight I looked at in the card, going, oh, I really want to see that fight. And then I had to make them both agree to fight at that weight. And here we are, man. You know, we're 6 days away from watching this happen.
And then looking back at your previous champions and people that fought in your organization, I mean, it's like literally the who's who. I mean, you can get like most of your champions or previous top contenders, and they're all headlining Bellator, UFC. How does that feel as an owner? Like, you know, these guys weren't known until they were pretty much an MFC.
But you have to keep in mind, 95% of fighters never leave the MFC to go to anywhere else but the UFC. That's a fact. We've had maybe one guy, two guys over all the 15 years go to like a different organization besides the UFC. Everybody wants to fight in the Maximum Fighting Championship. Why? Because you're on live TV on Access TV. Your checks never bounce in the Maximum Fighting.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Right? Keep that into consideration.
Yeah.
Treat people properly. They stay at great hotels. There's actually a crowd of people that watch you fight live. And that's the difference, guys. I mean, people can say whatever they want. People can run their mouth nonstop. I don't even care anymore because the facts are the facts. I mean, listen, I this is the first time ever in 15 years I started to bring this kind of stuff up. We've had 86 guys go from the MFC to the UFC. 86.
Wow.
Now, you tell me what other organization in the world has had that. Nobody. Me, right? Now, a lot of those guys have gone back and forth. So, for example, you had Tala's Ladies that was in the UFC, went to the MFC, and then went back to the UFC. Jason McDonald, all these guys, Patrick Cote, you know, like there's so many guys. Ben Henderson, Paul Daly. I mean, I can name them nonstop. I don't care if anybody wants to acknowledge that. I don't even care if anybody condones it. The bottom line is people can say whatever they want but I know a lot of these other shows aren't making any money. They're funded by, you know, whether it be hedge fund companies, whether it be private investors, whether it be whatever. And I think the only downfall ever of the MFC is that we weren't real promoters. We never sat around and said, you know, made up a bunch of lies and then never happened. But that's the majority of every show outside the UFC that does that. They make up a lot of lies. They make up a lot of crap that never comes to fruition. And people write it and think it's fact. And then no one ever does any checking that, hey, that never happened.
And then, again, not to kind of keep picking at it, but Anthony Burchak was supposed to fight the last UFC, but unfortunately, because of situations, the guy that he was
lineup shuffle,
lineup shuffle. The guy that he was supposed to fight actually fought for the belt. But do you think? Because I honestly do believe that Anthony Burchak would have gave TJ Dillashaw more of a fight. I think it would have been more competitive. Do you think that they chose wrong too? That maybe Anthony Burchak deserved to be the guy to step up for the belt?
No question. And you know, it's funny because once again, right? It's like I think Burchak wins that fight against him, and I think Burchak does very good against Dillashaw. And it just once again proves the level of talent that I have in my organization. It's always proved it. The only difference between what we do and most other people is financial, right? Mm-hmm. And that's the only difference, because you look in the last 3 months, you got Burchak in the UFC, you got Sam Alvey in the UFC,
yes.
You got Anthony Hamilton in the UFC, you got O'Connell in the UFC, you got 4 or 5 guys that just signed like within the last few months, right? And I don't have a UFC release clause, nor will I ever have one. But when guys' contracts kind of come to the end, I let them go. You know, I'm like, oh, go ahead. You know, it's enough, right? They basically ran their course with the MFC, and I let them continue on. But like I told you, 95% of people don't go anywhere else but the UFC from the MFC. Wow. They're not going to go over to Bellator. They're definitely not going to go over to the World Series, and that's a fact. Everybody that comes here wants exposure. They want to make good money. They want to get great sponsors, and they want to roll into the UFC, and that's just the way it goes.
Is there a kind of dichotomy when a fighter leaves? I mean, because like obviously as a president of a company, you're kind of lost business opportunity, but as a friend, you want to see him succeed at the highest level. So is there kind of a dual play going on in your mind during that time?
Well, you know, it's funny. I always looked at myself as one of the top MMA organizations in the world, and then realistically, right? This is not people with the hype and there's lots of smoke and mirrors, and there's guys that come to my city that have such big shows, and they get 300 people in a venue that holds 5,000 people. You see that lots. I think realistically, though, if you do the mathematics over 15 years, you do the TV deals I have, you do the rosters that I've had, there's no other organization that's been more successful than the Maximum Fighting Championship, except, of course, the UFC. Nobody else has been more successful than us. Nobody. You tell me Bellator's making money right now? Guaranteed they're in the hole millions of dollars. World Series is in a bigger hole than Bellator is. That's a 1,000% fact. And the bottom line is, it's like, well, how do you judge who's bigger? Don't you judge who makes more money? That's kind of how I look at things. So I don't see where they're bigger than our organization. And what happens at Bellator, people get stuck in those contracts, never can get out, and there's some really good talent that probably should be in the UFC or MFC, and they get stuck in those weird contracts, and they basically drown in MMA land.
And then really quick, just back to MFC 41. Besides the main event, what fight would you want to let our listeners know that you're the most excited about?
Well, of course, Victor Velamaki versus Jay Ryan. I mean, it's about time that, you know what drives me nuts, man? These guys have been sitting here. Everybody's been sitting on their hands singing Kumbaya. No one's doing anything. The only one selling this fight card. And I'm so mad at the fighters on this card because I'm like, haven't you guys learned yet? Listen, I love that kid in the UFC. What's his name? The Irish kid.
Oh, Conor McGregor. Yeah.
I love him. Like, I'm almost positive that he could be my child from prior to me ever being married. Because I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, this kid is exactly what you need to be in this generation. He trash talks to a point now where it's not even trash talk. It's like he really means it. And then when it was over, he talked very polite about his opponent. He was very respectful, and then that's it. But prior to the fight, he was selling it to everybody. You think anybody cared? No offense, man, but you think anybody cares about the Mighty Mouse guy and the other guy he's fighting? No, people wanted to watch the fight with him and who he was fighting, and they wanted to see the fight between Cerrone and what's his name?
Eddie Alvarez.
Yeah, Eddie Alvarez, right? And once again, I always said it. I like Eddie Alvarez, but I always told you he's not that good. But everybody's like, oh, Eddie Alvarez, he's the man, blah, blah, blah. Cerrone pulls him apart. And the bottom line is, I always said that. I said I like him a lot, but he's not very good. And what happens, he comes to the UFC, his first guy, and he gets,
All right, and to look at MFC's future, I know we still have to wait to see what happens at MFC 41, kind of figure out lightweight, welterweight. But as far as the other divisions, is there a plan to go ahead or
to get champions crowned in those divisions?
Yes, always that. That's always, guys. That's always my vision. My vision is always to make that type of thing happen.
And also, I want to talk to you a little bit about maybe the MFC's venture into the United States. Is that a possibility in the near future, having a card in the States?
Well, we got Scott Zur, our media guy, living in California now.
Oh, yeah? Scott's in California? We're in California. Pay him a visit.
He's in California, in Bakersfield, and, we're in 2015, we're gonna set up some stuff, and we're gonna kind of go from there, and see what happens. But once again, I'm not going to start making any weird predictions. I'm not going to start telling you. I really don't want to sound like that promoter and say, oh yeah, this is what's going to happen, and we're signing Chuck Liddell tomorrow. And it's just so stupid, man. I hear so many bogus promises, and it's like, that's not what we're looking to do.
Yeah. Well, Mark, we'll let you go. You got obviously a busy week. It is fight week. Friday, October 3rd, MFC 41 All In, main evented by Marcus Edwards against Shane Campbell live at the Shaw Conference Center in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, and can be seen live on Access TV. Mark, it's always a pleasure to talk with you. Thank you very much for your time, and we hope to see you again in the very near future.
Thanks for having me on, fellas. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Please visit FiveRoundMMA.com on our social media on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. FiveRoundMMA.com.
Okay, welcome back. Let's jump into UFC 178, the aftermath.
This guy really wants to be the rock and green superstar clean of the show. He has all this chicken scratch over
And
here.
you're over here.
This
Look
guy,
at
that's pointing to me. This guy. Here.
Albert has all
Albert's
this chicken
notepad.
scratch.
He has a laptop open and a pen and paper out. What?
Quit looking at my nose.
It just is Conor McGregor wrestling.
That's for me to know and for you guys to find out.
In-depth notes there. UFC 170, what the fallout this segment is going to be called. Top to bottom, you guys are satisfied with the card? I think it's
I think it was a great
lot of
card.
action.
I can't even remember the last time they had such a good UFC event.
And this is
and I do think that's saying a lot. That I can't even remember when the last time from the prelims all the way to the main event.
And you remember
was
this
such a good
event
card.
had so many lineup changes. It was
Yes,
supposed to be
it did.
Gustafsson versus Jones 2, then DC versus Jones, and then that got dropped out. So
Even Bobby Green was in the card at one point.
Against Donald Cerrone.
Yep. So let's talk about. I want to talk about first our very first guest ever on the show, and our very good friend Kevin Lee is now I think 2-1 in the UFC.
Yeah.
Got a decision performance on the prelims
Dominant
fight on the
decision.
UFC Fight Pass. So congratulations to Kevin Lee.
Yes.
Go follow him at Motown Phenom. And also I want to talk to you guys first about because we do the weekly picks on Instagram.
I think Alex did the best.
Yeah, no, I think they're pretty bad. I think I would do the best actually.
There you go. I think I only got one wrong, right?
I think so. I don't know. But first, what I want to ask is why were you both hating on my boy, the Dominator, Dominick Cruz?
It's such a
You guys
long
both
layoff.
picked against him.
It was such a long layoff that I just went.
3 years is a long.
Yeah, I just wanted to
Did it
see.
look like it did it?
Yeah, I just wanted to see. That's why I went against him. I normally would pick for Dominick Cruz, but that's what made my decision.
Yep.
I picked it certainly on facts.
Facts.
Yeah,
Notebook. He opens his notebook.
Mitsugati has always gone the distance.
Mm-hmm.
He's never been finished. I thought it was gonna be 3 rounds, and I think because the long layoff, I thought Dominick Cruz was actually gonna start late and have to be picking it up late in the second round, third round.
Happen at all.
And but I mean that's how I assumed it would be. It made sense to me, and that's why I went the other way. Not because I didn't believe in Dominick Cruz, I just thought the long layoff, and because of his opponent.
I just wanted to see. I thought it would be a decision loss for Dominick Cruz.
And one word, sum up his performance, Guillermo. One word.
One word. Scary.
Scary. Albert, one word.
Come on, domination, man.
Or dominated. I don't know, dominating. I think everybody said, "Oh, let's see how he eases back into it." But I think did he earn himself a title shot?
Yeah, he did. It's already booked, or it's in the process.
He said he kind of took it. Yeah,
and that's why I said scary because I think TJ Dillashaw has a big contender coming his way now.
And this puts your boy Sensao in the back seat again, right?
Again, poor Sensao.
I think he's fighting next week,
Can't you break, can he?
And what about Renan Barão too?
Well, I think he's still hurt, right?
Yeah,
so.
or we don't know what's up with him. I don't even know if he can still make weight, to tell you the truth. I don't even know what's going on.
He might not want to make weight after that. But it's kind of funny. They say TJ Dillashaw's emulating Dominick Cruz's style now, so it's kind of like, okay, I'm the guy who invented my style, so it's kind of like, could be a good clash. See how Bang Lungwood styles matches up.
Yeah, and then I heard Martin Catman's the new coach at Alpha Males.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, good striker. So there you go.
Yeah. Follow Uriah Faber on Instagram.
Yeah, and TJ Dillashaw is still going to use
Dwayne Ludwig.
Yeah. So second one, I talk about the other big return of the night, Kat Zingano, after 17 months, I think, 15 months around there.
And hers actually was a rusty start.
Yeah.
And then she eased into it.
She defeated Amanda Nunes, also got her a title shot back because she was originally the title contender, right?
Against Ronda Rousey.
Was supposed to coach against Tough, but she got hurt, messed up her knee. Misha Tate stepped in, and there you go. But Kat Zingano, her performance of the night,
awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, she
didn't lose it. I was like, Dominick Cruz didn't really lose anything, right?
She started off rusty, and she took some bombs from Amanda Nunes, but being the better, when you're the better fighter, you have to stay composed and focused.
Or maybe just a wake up
in those
call.
situations. Yeah. And sure enough, as soon as she got back to good position, Amanda Nunes never saw another.
I'll kind of compare it to soccer. Like, man, you can practice. Let's say you get hurt, you can practice all you want. You can practice, but not until you get into a real game and actually experience that real game situation, that real game conditioning. do you really feel like back into the game? So maybe in the very beginning, it takes quite a while to get going, but once you're going, you remember why you're the better talent.
Yeah. So obviously now Kat Zingano earned herself a title shot against Ronda Rousey, one that she never really lost. Should Ronda Rousey be scared a little bit? I mean, one thing they gave Kat Zingano was actually the size. I think she's a little bit bigger than Ronda Rousey, who actually is a big bantamweight in the division. So is this kind of like maybe the end of Rousey, or just another?
I think Ronda Rousey. Another belt, another person,
another arm to take and put on her mantle.
I'll give this to Kat Zingano. She is really good at the ground and even more incredible in standing up. And we all know, even though Ronda Rousey has demolished all these stand-up fighters, we know that's her biggest weakness. And I still think Kat Zingano knows enough submission game to avoid her biggest threat, which is the armbar. Yeah. And I think her stand-up is good enough to probably do some damage before.
Are you training to defend Ronda Rousey, or you're training to attack Ronda Rousey?
That's what it sounds like. You're training Kat Zingano to
defend, not attack.
Not attack Ronda Rousey.
I say attack on the standing.
I think that's
defend on the ground.
You think that's probably like a lot of her other opponents been weakness. They're just training to defend Ronda Rousey, not attack.
Trying to defend the armbar. Trying to defend the judo flip.
Yep. So. And they end up losing to it anyways. So moving along, I want to talk the biggest controversy of the night. The All-American Tim Kennedy gets robbed in Vegas.
Well, to some people, I don't know how that was a robbery, dude. A robbery means...
Me and Alex were talking about this. John McCartney is coming over to check on Yoel Romero on the grease stuff on the...
Yeah, he's not going. He's not going there in time to get up. Stool.
Tim Kennedy is standing up, coming over there, and John McCartney tells him to get back. Why can't Tim Kennedy get a stool in there?
Okay, why can't he sit along with them?
Because he has a professional corner.
Equal playing field.
Don't blame the player for the coaching.
That's all I'm asking for.
All right, let's go to baseball. Okay. How many times have we seen the manager go out there and make it seem like he's going to take away the pitcher just to give some more time for the other pitcher to warm up?
No, they do it. You do it once.
But the other team has the ability to do that, right?
Yeah, but they managers do little silly things to keep their pitcher warming up more. I know there's other tricks that they do.
Okay,
I can't name off the top of my head, but they do it all the time in other sports. Is what I'm trying to say, and you can't blame the pitcher that the managers out there trying to give him extra time.
Okay, so Yoel Romero didn't rob Tim Kennedy. Yoel Romero's corner can't rob Tim Kennedy.
And I think
you're in agreement that Tim Kennedy got robbed.
No, I'm not agreeing with that.
Okay, so what do you say? So
because he only
tricks the trade sneaky. You guys got away with it.
A lot. If you pay attention to the corners, a lot of them drop the ice out of nowhere.
Did Jason Kidd get suspended for dropping the ice on the court?
That's what I'm saying.
So then Yoel Romero, manager or camp, get suspended for this now?
No, I think the camp.
I think there should be.
I think it should. No, I think it should be a fine. But
no way can
you overturn it.
So.
How you can't overturn it? It wasn't like the guy was knocked out or whatever.
Extra 30 seconds. This is a guy who's known for gassing out,
and he was rocked 5 seconds prior to the bell.
There at least has been an investigation. If Tim Kennedy's not,
there's gonna be zero because you guys are 100% wrong.
There has
when John McCartney went over
Las
there,
Vegas Commission needs to investigate.
No,
I haven't seen Dana White. Did you even say anything about this?
No, yeah, he said that
the manager or
he actually already
dumb?
talked to the commission that same night, and he said the tricky part is it was our own guy that put too much Vaseline on Yoel Romero, so it's kind of our fault. So that's why we can't put 100% blame on the stool. 100% on the corner. Yeah. No, because I'm telling you, he stayed on the stool because he said, "Look, you have to remove the access."
They couldn't do it standing up.
That's not. I mean, again, it's not Romero's fault.
I'm not saying it's Romero's fault, but because of the process, I say it's no contest.
Either way, he was have to wait for him to remove the Vaseline.
Yeah, it looks so sneaky, dude. I don't know. I mean,
it's just like I think it's just a manager trick that they did. You can't blame the player for giving their player an extra second or two.
I think Tim Kennedy was on a roll. I think he could have.
He had no chance. He was getting killed in the first round.
Before this fight,
the second one he was getting killed, and he
second round killed. He almost knocked out. He almost knocked
in the last 5 seconds. Alex
still almost knocked him
out.
And this is exactly where the incident took place. Though he gave 30 seconds to catch his breath, to catch the cobwebs back.
That's forever. Yeah, just check out the cobwebs.
He walked back to his corner on his own will, standing up and everything. I've seen other fighters that the corner rushes in to grab him to put him down in the stool. He walked on his own power to the corner and sat down.
But
on his own.
I think if Kenny got robbed.
Yeah. What
No.
is it?
Well, hey,
Chairgate?
Yeah,
look,
Stoolgate.
My boy, Romero.
This is not the last time you hear about
It's
Stoolgate.
legit. Just look, the only reason I want him to move forward is because of his age, and I just want him to win the title already so he can retire.
Oh, I
but
mean-
if they want to rematch it, it's going to end the same way. Tim Kane's going to get
Is he
TKO or knocked out.
I mean, but like he's not next in line though. So Jacques
Yeah,
is next in line.
and then Chris Weidman just got pushed back.
but
Yeah.
you never know what can happen. Again, Joffrey
So-
can get hurt. We don't know.
True, but as of right now, what Weidman has was Belfort and then Jacques, right?
Yeah, and
So-
then Belfort.
supposedly.
That
Supposedly.
fight's gonna get
Yeah.
delayed a little bit.
So go ahead. Let's do the rematch.
Might as well. Tim Kennedy.
Tell Tim Kennedy.
Justice for Kennedy.
Hey,
Hashtag Justice for Kennedy.
Hey, tell Tim Kennedy he can have an extra 5 seconds in the stool if he
Good,
wants.
he'll take it too. Next one, the most highly anticipated debut of former Bellator lightweight champion Eddie Alvarez as he went up against Cowboy Cerrone, who Guillermo actually picked Cerrone over Alvarez, which I thought Guillermo was most critical of Cerrone than anybody.
Yeah,
but
I'm
I
very
explained the
critical.
reason for Cerrone at the beginning, before the fight.
Wait, what was the question?
Why'd you pick Cerrone before the fight?
Was there a question?
Because I felt like you're coming from AAA to the big leagues.
Ooh.
Can you handle the big leagues? And I felt like that's a big test for him, where they should have started Eddie Alvarez a little bit lower, and that's why I took Cerrone.
Wow. So,
Easy as that.
According to Guillermo, Eddie Alvarez is
You
a
don't, you don't
AAA
just
player.
You can't get Yasiel Puig all the time,
Yes, he could.
or Mike Trout. You know, it takes a very, very, very special player.
As far, if you the highlights, of I guess the fight, if you just in a nutshell, Alvarez had a pretty good first
First
round,
round.
but Cerrone is known for having the bad first rounds, right? So it's kind of like
Yeah.
washing itself out.
It was funny because Albert's like, why isn't Eddie Alvarez checking the leg kicks?
Yeah, and then
we saw
Cerrone
at the end.
collapses.
Yeah, that's why.
But at the end of the day, Cowboy Cerrone won a unanimous decision just for the damage he done throughout the whole fight. So 2 questions: can Alvarez hang in the UFC after this? Is he a contender, top 10?
Well, yeah, I think so. I
Top
think
5?
I think he did well
5?
enough to be mentioned in the top 10.
Top 5 maybe?
Yeah, maybe pushing it. Yes,
No,
I think so.
He's definitely top 5. It was just one of those things. That it was
Just think about this.
This was literally the worst matchup for him because he's a smaller fighter and he really had to close the distance. And he just kind
Shorter
of,
fighter.
it was short for.
Yeah.
He played into.
that-
Probably
boy
the shortest one in the division.
But he has some sore- that guy's broad. He has some
but
sores on
he
him, though.
played. He played into Cowboy's strongest part,
Yeah.
which is his Muay Thai.
And then if you think about it, Cowboy's known to choke under big fights.
Yeah,
and
that's,
they
what,
were
that's what I
saying.
thought. This is the biggest fight I think he ever had in his
And
career.
if he
other than
could,
the title shot.
if Eddie Alvarez couldn't rise to the occasion,
Yeah.
you know, that just shows you where he belongs in that division.
Well, true, good point. Before we move along, Cowboys contender now? No more contender?
No, remember
get-
what happened to him with Anthony Showtime Perez? I mean,
Gotta
you
get
just
past
got to go
Khabib,
back to
maybe?
that.
Gotta get past Khabib Nurmagomedov when he comes
Yeah,
back.
I think Khabib is higher than Cerrone still.
Might
I
make
think he
sense.
has had a long
yeah,
layoff.
Contender?
No, I agree.
People are saying Cowboys contender now. Give him
No,
Melendez.
Kahib
Pettis.
had deserved that spot, and I really think someone has to take it away
Yeah.
from him. To
Had
really earn
Donald done better against
yeah, if he would have put away,
Showtime?
if would have put away Alvarez,
Yeah.
maybe I would have maybe defend him more. But
Yeah. Well, I mean, Alvarez might be saved here for the fact that, remember, Benson Harrison announced this week he has one more fight at lightweight, then moving up to
Moving up to
welterweight.
welterweight.
So there's actually a top 10 spot right there for him. So Alvarez might be in the clearing for now, anyways.
Yeah.
Also, last one, Demetrious Johnson. Is he the best champion in the UFC right now?
Yes, he is. He's
Most dominant?
There's
I mean,
nobody in that weight class
That weight class
that can compete
but
with
as far as the
Demetrious
champions,
Johnson.
I think what?
How many times does he have to fight Ian McCall?
Yeah.
twice.
John
The
Dodson.
answer to that is twice.
John Dodson, Joseph Benavidez. How many? It's it's
The
just
first one
now,
was a draw. The second one could have gone either way. So
Questionable.
twice.
Okay, so we know where Alvarez stands.
now it seems like just a wheel that
Yeah.
Demetrious Johnson is facing.
That's
now.
why I said I said 90%. 5% goes to McCall. 5% goes to Joseph Benavidez.
Is he going up to bantamweight maybe?
That's what I was saying. If Dominick Cruz has a win over Demetrious Johnson,
Dominant win too. He tossed
so
him around.
I mean, why wouldn't Demetrious
Yeah,
Johnson? win a
I think
re-
if TJ can be,
especially a super fight.
Yeah.
if I think
revenge
if TJ
it.
can beat Dominic Cruz,
Then TJ
we'll see our
and-
first super fight
Yeah.
finally.
Yeah.
I really do think that.
I think you're ranking them. I think dominant champions. You got Rousey, Mighty Mouse, and John Jones, right?
At this point, maybe
this-
Mighty Mouse might be 2 or 3 now.
yeah,
Yeah.
Because I mean, Chris Weidman.
I think he's literally just 2 defenses away, and he's literally
top
one
champion.
or two.
top champion.
Because you would
and,
say John Bon Jones 1, and maybe Demetrious Johnson right now 2.
Yeah, I feel Ronda Rousey too, but I think that is it for today. All the UFC 178. It was hot. It was hot in here. Just arguing with you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We didn't talk too much about Conor McGregor because he can do
Oh,
all
yeah,
the
Conor McGregor.
He can do all the talking for himself.
Yeah.
I mean, let's not talk for a guy that has plenty of talk.
I mean, what
behind
more
him.
can you say that hasn't been
Yeah,
said
that
already?
he hasn't already
of
said.
Conor McGregor. UFC 178 is in the books. This show is in the books. The Conor McGregor hour is over, much to the dismay of Guillermo. We have to wait for Conor McGregor to return, right?
Yeah, I can't wait for his next fight. I wonder who
The fight or the hype up to the fight?
both. I can't wait for
I'll
who
give
they pair
I'll
him
give
up
this
with.
to Conor McGregor. He makes me want to step up my suit game.
Just nice
Because, man, that guy, he's in another level when it comes to that suit.
Didn't he
game.
keep it a high secret?
Yeah, and he
wouldn't show it until after the fight?
It was a good thing he did because it was a nice, like, ivory suit that not that many people can pull off ivory. I'll tell you that. Didn't David wear ivory for his wedding? Looked horrible, by the way. Horrible, David.
Conor McGregor winning on all levels. Make sure to check in next week when we continue the Conor McGregor conversation. Until then, make sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at FiveRoundMMA. That's FIVE.
Or positive.
Like us on Facebook. Subscribe to us on iTunes, YouTube, and Podomatic. And always check out FiveRoundMMA.com for fighter spotlights. Not exclusive videos, but videos from all over different promotions. Got those updated on there. Also please visit OvertimeNation.com to read our articles, commentaries, and editorials, not only on the world of mixed martial arts, but in the whole sports spectrum. NFL, got the MLB playoffs coming up, fantasy as well, and also professional wrestling, which is according to the new rumors. I heard Undertaker's healthy, and so is Brock Lesnar. So those are all squashed. Undertaker's in bad health, and so is Brock Lesnar. But from what I read, they're both in fine health. And follow them on Twitter at overtime_nation. And big game, energy to help us for this round. We need to find out who is today's Rocking Green super clean star of the show.
Thank you.
Hey, we can handle a riot, Jackson. We can handle this riot.
That's like 4 weeks in a row you won.
He liked the in between saying I had about Albert.
David, to put the cherry on top.
Off the.
I already baked the cupcake.
He's
off
a turkey on the
cherry,
ham, man.
Jackson.
That was an in between segments conversation we had about turkey and ham and a club sandwich.
Now I'm hungry, so let's get this.
Super clean star of the show is brought to you by Rocking Green. Please visit rockandgreensoap.com to see the full line of eco-friendly soaps and detergents, and follow them on Twitter at rockandgreensoap.com. They do awesome giveaways, and so make sure to follow them and keep up to date. And also big thank you to 5 Rounds Clothing Line, makers of high quality MMA clothes and accessories. So please visit and shop 5rounds.clothing and follow them on Twitter at 5roundswear. And a big, huge thank you to the RMA Foundation. Redemption Martial Arts is a nonprofit organization committed to anti-bullying awareness. Please visit their website at redemptionmartialarts.com to see how you can join the movement to stop bullying, and follow them on Twitter at redemption_MA. Rise up against bullying, everyone. Albert, take us away.
I'd like to thank our executive producer, Guillermo Cita. Big game over there. Always reliable.
You're not mad at them anymore?
Nah, not that, man. And, of course, our sound engineer, Steven Razzle with Razzle Records. Do yourself a favor. Alex, you do yourself a favor.
Look
up Prince Devitt, who's in NXT. Devitt? Or
Okay.
I think that's how it's something like that.
You're telling me.
Type it in. I'm pretty sure they'll autocorrect it for you if it's wrong.
Prince NXT something.
He signed with NXT. Do yourself a favor. Look him up.
Cream of the crop.